The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is a greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder. Right in the center of their forehead, inside their head, they'll hear Bach, just like they would with their ears, but the ears aren't involved.
The skeptics.
This is a standard CD player. And what these are is piezoelectric transducers. And in simple language, they carry a signal that can enter the nervous system so that you can get that proverbial voice in the head. And so by activating this, placing these electrodes, on the surface of the skin, blocking the ears tightly, you'll hear the music just as if your ears were playing it, but the ears have nothing to do with it. The 8th cranial nerve, the part that connects to the brain, has nothing to do with it.
So in other words, I can touch this to my neck and hear it without my ears hearing it, and no one else in the room will hear it.
That is correct. I want you to block your ears really tightly so you can't hear it.
Now, Dr. Nick Begich is showing him how the HAARP transmitter can send a signal directly to his brain.
Wow.
So what did you hear?
Well, I heard music,
right.
But it's strange because I listened to try to figure out where the music was coming from, and it seemed like right here.
Right.
It sounded like I was hearing it almost.
You can do this wirelessly with microwave. So there's lots of ways to do it, and this just gives a very simple sort of workbench model that gives the principle so people can understand, yeah, you can really do it.
I've got the documents from NASA, from Federal Times, from back in the 70s, the DIA, talking about how they were going to use this microwave hearing to drive political targets.
The key is you cannot block out the sound even if you cover up your ears. That is because the weapon uses a physical phenomenon called the microwave auditory effect. In ordinary sound perception, sound vibrates our eardrums and is converted into mechanical vibrations. When the vibrations reach our inner ears, they turn into electrical impulses sent into our brain. This is how we normally hear. However, when we expose to microwave pulses, our body tissues heat up and expand rapidly, inducing vibrations directly inside our skull. These vibrations turn into electrical impulses in our inner ears and can cause a perception of sound even when there's no sound at all. Microwave hearing is actually nothing new, but rather a well-established area of research since the 1960s.
One of the men behind the technology admits he created a monster. Dr. Robert Duncan put together the technology that allows the government to transmit thoughts and voices into the heads of Americans.
I've worked on projects for the CIA, Justice Department, Department of Defense.
So you know for a fact that these weapons that you worked on, they're being used domestically today?
Absolutely.
Are there citizens of this country that are being abused with this technology?
Worse than abused, that's a light word. They're being tortured. They easily could be broadcasting across the country messages to people and causing them extreme pain. They're called voice of God weapons.
These are people within our government at a certain level making these decisions, and they're not necessarily our president or our elected officials.
That's exactly right. They can't be removed, and they're difficult to find. They hide in the dark crevices of our government.